She's like, "Yeah, we go on vacation," and you know, and at the time at home, she's like yelling at her kids, "Nah, you little," you know, like, and I'm just like, I'm not saying she got to show that side, but I mean, she could eventually, you know, sometimes say like, "Hey, like." Hey, it's Lance McGowan here, and today I wanted to give you some insights on a conversation that I had with a long-lost cousin on Facebook Messenger. Boom, there you go. And it's, you know, they had some health issues going on, and this can sometimes happens a lot. And I see a lot of stuff in my Facebook news feed sometimes, and sometimes I get messages, and it's really important to kind of address the root cause of what's going on and how you can maybe help yourself or help others. And I'm going to give a little commentary as well, but yeah, so it's interesting because the last time we had talked was in 2011, so that was over 7 years ago. Long lost cousin, hey. This is on my dad's side, so if you don't know, my nationality is Korean and African American, so my dad was African American. He passed away from throat cancer and an allergic reaction to chemo when I was roughly 10, and then my mom, she had triple bypass surgery when I was about 14. So I do have a family history of health issues. I did have some stuff going on with myself, which has really encouraged me to focus on natural solutions when I finally went to a green smoothie class in 2013 here in Las Vegas, and then learned more about natural solutions that are safe, effective, and all natural. And that has just been my life now. So I save money, I live better, my quality of life is high, and I'm able to just kind of tweak that. And little stuff happens here and there with my health, but by and large, it's all manageable or under control, which is really a big win. But anyways, my cousin reached out, and he looks like some of my cousins I honestly haven't seen for like decades, like 20, 30 years. I'm only 32, but but anyways, he says, I think he's probably about like mid to late 40s, maybe early 50s. He says, "How's it going?" I said, "Hey, how are you?" "I'm doing well." He says, "Medical problems. Life is tough." I say, "Sorry to hear that. What medical problems are you going through?" So, you know, my goal is always to seek understanding, right? He then says, "I have to do dialysis 3 days a week. My kidneys failed. Waiting for disability to kick in. I haven't worked since the end of January." And so I actually knew somebody from my previous job, which is a woman, who had a very similar situation, and we talked about, hey, you know, like green smoothies and stuff like that. She was like, "I can't, it has vitamin K in it, it could clog my arteries, and, you know, or cause blood clots." And I'm like, well, it wasn't kale that caused what your situation is in, so it's not going to be kale that, you know, causes it again. Like, I didn't say that to her, obviously, that would have been rude, but in my mind, I'm like, well, hold on, kale is good for you. Kale, yeah, right? But anyways, that's a whole nother story. We ain't gonna get into that. We gotta stay on this one. Okay. So I then say, I see, how did your kidneys fail? And then he said, "I went on vacation to Georgia, and on way back I had a stroke." Okay, wow. "Brain, bleeding, and my kidneys failed." That's more of like what happened, but maybe what was the previous behaviors that led up to that, because some people may not have that education or self-awareness. I get that. Typically when people have a stroke of the brain, it's because one of these main arteries right here get clogged with plaque or cholesterol, which is derived, unless you have a genetic disposition or a genetic issue, which is low single digits, it's going to be what you eat, because your body produces all the cholesterol you need. So anything that you get extra and eventually clogs arteries, wherever they may be, heart, you know, veins, is going to be from animal proteins, or basically beef, chicken, eggs, seafood, stuff like that, or even milk. So yeah, sounds like stroke was a health issue here. We got kidney failure. We got some major stuff going on here. And then I asked, "Are your kidneys functional at all, or is dialysis or replacement only options?" He said, "They are working enough for me to keep being able to go to bathroom. They say I'm losing protein when I urinate." I then said, "Are you open to learning more about natural solutions for your health?" And so for me, it's so important to understand what people's problems are, kind of what they're going through. I'm always interested in the root cause, right? What caused my dad's cancer, right? What caused my mom's heart disease? Because it sounds like he is going down a similar road as my mom, even though they don't know each other, or they may know of each other. But and so, like, I just don't like cycles repeating. Like, let's break all the cycles, right? Let's you know, the single parent home cycle, you know, the single mom cycle, which was what my mom was for a large part. I mean, she's on her 5th marriage right now. She had lots of guys in and out from marriages. She had health issues, heart disease. My dad had cancer. You know, like, I just want to break all those cycles, right? No more broken homes, no more health issues. Come on. All right, I gotta get a hold of myself here. But no, I just feel for him. You know what I mean? Like, I just hate to see family members going through the same stuff that other family members went through. Like, that hurts me on the inside. Okay, so anyways, he says yes, open to natural solutions. I say, great. Would you be open to chatting over the phone next week for 20 minutes? He said yes. I said, cool, what days work for you? He said Wednesday or Friday. We just, you know, started working out a time like, hey, Friday works for me. I'm in Vegas. I'm on Pacific time. Where do you live? And so he said where he lives. He actually lives in Oregon. And then just said, hey, you know, the reason why I'm kind of going over these details because I want you to catch something. Okay, so you're probably like, okay, this is maybe too many details, man. I don't care about you working out when you're going to talk to him. Like, what's the point? You know, I will share that. So hang on. Because there is a point to it. Point. That was awkward. All right, but this is what this is going to lead up to. He says, you know, it is an open day for me. Anytime works. I say, cool. Does noon or 2 p.m. work for you on Friday? He says, either one. I said, noon works for me. Let's exchange numbers and shoot for that. So he gives me his number. I give him mine and tell him, hey, I'm looking forward to chatting with you on Friday. So boom, it is scheduled. It is on my books because I put it in my calendar on my phone and set reminders because it's a priority for me. People's health, when they reach out and when they're open to natural solutions, is a priority for me. I want to understand in that conversation. I want to catch up with them. I mean, I haven't talked to him in 7 years, you know. I actually haven't even, I don't remember even meeting him. We're just connected on Facebook. So thank you, Mark Zuckerberg, for creating a platform where we can connect with family members we haven't met yet or don't remember meeting, but they reach out to you. So it's cool. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make with that level of detail and granularity with how we scheduled something is because it's a priority for me, and now I'm assuming, I could be assuming wrong, but I was assuming it was a priority for him. Now, Friday came, let's fast forward, okay, and basically Friday happens, and let's see here, okay, Friday happened, I gave him a call at the time that I was supposed to, which was noon, and no answer. Left a voicemail, just letting them know, hey, this is Lance, just calling to catch up and connect with you and kind of see what's up. And so I didn't hear back from him. Actually, he actually texted me. He texted me probably about 45 minutes after that. And so what I texted him, because, you know, I just try to follow up, is said, hey, this is Lance McGowan. Let me know if there's a time or day that works best for you to talk again, and we can set something up. So basically I'm saying, hey, I'm not giving up, but we also didn't talk at the time that we said, so what's going to work for you? Like, that's behind the words, reading behind the lines there, or between the lines, something like that. Yeah. He said, had to go to the ER, not feeling very good. All right. And then I said, sorry to hear that, hope you feel better soon. If there's another day in the future to catch up, let me know. I sent that, you know, basically a day or so after he did that. I haven't heard back from him. And this is where the rub is. And I wanted to share this part with you specifically because I have met a lot of people doing what I do who are interested in improving their health, but they are not committed to doing so. What do I mean by that? And I want to be wrong on this one. I'll tell you, I want to be wrong on this one because I want him to, you know, not just be interested but be committed. But I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. What I mean is when we do stuff that we're interested in, it's based on how convenient it is for us, right? I get that he was in the ER. Like, I'm not trying to downplay that, and I know that's very serious and all that. And it may have been an emergency that popped up and all that. I get that. Like, I get that. All I'm asking is for a little communication, right? Hey, I'm in the ER. Won't be able to make our call today. Let's set something up later. Or I'll let you know when I can. Something. Either on the front end or on the back end when he recovers or, you know, gets back from there. That's all I'm asking for, just a little communication, right? That may be too much of an expectation for some people. Some people may be like, that ain't expectation enough, but I believe that's a reasonable expectation, to if somebody preemptively tells me that, or at least follows up with that. But I follow up if they don't, because I care about connecting with people and trying to set something else up in the future. Anyways, so we have the interest part. We talked about that. That's based on convenience. Now here's the rub. It's the commitment part. Commitment isn't just based on convenience. It's actually focusing on the results and not making any excuses. And that's hard for some people to hear, because when you're going through something, the thing you want to do the most is avoid the pain. Like, people want something that's going to make the pain go away. Whatever the pain looks like. It could be emotional pain, mental pain, physical pain, any type of pain, right? Less people kind of want like the vitamin approach, like, hey, I want to feel good. It's more like, just make the bad go away. And I get that. Some people want both. I mean, obviously you want both. Like, you just want the bad stuff to go away and only get the good stuff. That may be more idealistic thinking, but it's still possible. I mean, I strive for that myself. But for me to reach out, no response, obviously I'm going to give it time. I'm not going to give up on anybody, but at the same time, I'm not going to chase anybody. And this goes for family members too. And what I've also learned with family members, and specifically, and I learned this from one of my mentors and uplines, is that family members trust you, but they may not see you as the expert. I'm no Dr. Oz, no Dr. Phil, and no Dr. X. I'm none of those, right? And my mom is the same. It goes for her. Like, when I started talking to her about green smoothies and natural solutions and all that, she was like, "You're my baby. Like, you're not, you're no doctor, She's Korean, so that's my accent. But anyways, so, she didn't say that specifically, but that was the vibe I got. She's like, it's like, she's like, the vibe is like, I change your diaper, I do all that, like, why are you telling me how to live my life? And there have been times in the past where I guess maybe I came across as a little preachy, and I had to adjust my approach, because she actually she's like, okay, Dad, it's just like, you don't want your mom to say, okay, Dad, to you, or okay, you don't want your mom to call you a mom, or whatever, situation that is, but, and so I had to learn from that, and at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, I think the principles I always go back to when stuff like this happens is, I am who I am, I keep it real, I try to tell the facts, and I went to a networking event, and they were like, what's one thing about you that people should know about? And it's just like, I keep it real. Like, even if it's when people don't like or agree with my message, or even delivery style. And they were like, I like that. That's focusing authenticity and being genuine. It's like, yeah, like, I'm not here for popularity. I'm not here for like your approval or, votes or something. Like, I'm just here to just be me and just try to give you the best information I can find, and make sure it's fact-based and truthful and stuff, even if it doesn't make me look good, right? On Facebook, there's the tendency to make everything look like a museum. Everything's all perfect. My sister's really good at that. She's like, we go on vacation, and at the time, at home, she's like, yelling at her kids, and and I'm just like, I'm not saying she gotta show that side, but I mean, she could eventually, sometimes say like, hey, like, man, today was tough with the kids, and I'm so glad I get to work out to relieve some stress, or something to just make it real, But at the same time, you don't want to just live in your problems. Really, it's more like a hospital. There's lots of sick people, there's doctors, there's patients, and it's just, how do we get that healing? And I think, not pretending it's a museum, but not living in the hospital, literally in this case with my cousin, or just, figuratively, what I'm talking about with my Facebook on my sister, but I think there's a balance, there's a middle ground, just being real, not being pessimistic, not being overly optimistic, but just being real, and that's what I try to be, and I think that the principles that I go back to when people reach out to me on Facebook, seeking connection or help with their health, or online, or on YouTube, or email, or even in person at networking events, or whatever it is, or even past clients or stuff like that, I know that I'm gonna deliver on my end. I'm gonna bring a lot to the table. I'm gonna give you the best information I can find. I'm gonna live out as much as I can, right? So to try to establish a credibility, and do a lot of stuff on my end. So that really the only thing on their end is not just interest. The interest is when they reached out, but I'm looking for a commitment. What type of commitment are you going to have for your own health, for your own well-being? And what time are you going to dedicate? What resources are you going to dedicate? How are you going to save up for something? How are you going to develop a game plan, a timeline of something with my help. Obviously there's going to be dialogue and stuff. I'm not expecting somebody to do this on their own, but what are they going to do in response to that? And that's going to really allow me to see how far we can go. And if my cousin never responds back to me, I'm going to leave it at that. Like, I reached out to him, I even asked, like, hey, when's a good time to meet up and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll see that people read my messages, or sometimes it's just left undelivered. But regardless, I put myself out there. I'm going to deliver on my end. But at the end of the day, I can only move towards people that move towards me. And if they don't move towards me, I'm going to talk to the next person. I'm gonna focus on the people who are not just open and interested, but who are ready and committed to make a change for the better in their life and their health. And there's a big difference between that interest and commitment. And that difference is what allows me to see through the people that are just like wanting to talk just to talk. And I don't want to say waste my time, but I do want to say there has to be a purpose. There has to be some milestone we're trying to achieve, some level up in quality of life, or level up in knowledge attainment, or level up in education that's being, exchanged. Some type of step up besides, hey, I got these problems, and hey, I'm going to the hospital. Like, there's got to be more than that, right? And I'm not trying to downplay people who do that, like my cousin. Like, I'm just saying, like, there's just got to be more. There's more commitment, I think, on his end. I think that's ultimately what I'm trying to say, is like, he's got to be more committed to his health than just saying that. And based on what he's going through, there is a way to still get some of that quality of life back. I don't know if he drinks alcohol. I mean, there's lots of questions I want to ask, like, what's your eating habits like? Do you drink alcohol? Like how did your kidneys get to how they were, right? Is it genetic? How do you know it's genetic? Did you get a blood sample? Did you look at your genes? Like, did you do gene mapping? Like, what? How can you, if you say something, how can you prove it, or how can you verify that as well? And those are going to be questions that make them think. And some people don't want to think. They just want to put their life in the hands of somebody else. And I think in the U.S., doctor's king. But at the same time, the modern healthcare system is not focused on preventative healthcare or the natural solution side. They're really good at traumatic healthcare. Broken bones, CAT scans, x-rays, blood tests, great. Use them for that. But use the natural for preventative and daily maintenance stuff is what my recommendation is. And also getting second, third, fourth opinions from homeopaths, naturopaths, MDs, chiropractors, people that are really specialized in their field, that are focused on something that an MD may not be. And really, once you do that, yeah, it's going to cost more time, yes, it's going to cost more money, but at least you have multiple perspectives and more wise counsel that you can cross-reference and compare notes with and be like, hey, the MD said this, but my chiropractor said that, and my naturopath said this. So what's up, homeopath? Like, that's kind of what you want to be in a position of, and that may sound strange or weird to you, but that should be done, if you have a house and you're looking for multiple quotes or price quotes for a roofer, plumber, electrician. Why is your body any different? Your body's the only home you have to live in. Why not get multiple quotes or estimates with regards to the counsel you're receiving on how to take better care of it? Yes, my videos or me is one way, but there should be multiple counsel, wise counsel, and multiple, right? And I think that's going to be really key, and I think that's going to be the difference between just being interested and committed to something. And at the end of the day, people are going to do what they want to do or not do, and we often do what we're most comfortable with, and that may not be the best decision. And I think that's my point. And I feel for my cousin, right? I want what's best for him. I want what's best for you, but we have to want it. We have to not just, when I say want it, not just be interested in want it, but we have to be committed to make a change once we do that, and be okay with some level of accountability. Not me on your back, like digging the claws and like, did you take your supplements today? Like, not like that. I'm just saying, like, something that's just more than just like, yeah, that sounds good, Lance. Okay. Hey, come on now. Anyways, hopefully that has helped or made you think that, I don't know. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button, or got some value out of today's video, hit the like button, and hit subscribe for future video updates. And most importantly, check out some of the links in the description below so you can continue to get your learn on with other videos, and I'll see you in the next video.